Hello everyone, welcome back to another car rant at last. I know you have all probably been starved for car content over the past couple weeks. We've been doing some Among Us videos, but lately school has just been crazy. We are coming up to finals week, but work was canceled today, so I decided to finally get some new content out there. So today, me and Pants here will be talking to you about a very important topic. So let's get right into it. Alright, so, like I said, thank you for being patient with me, everybody. We haven't had any car rants or car stuff out in the past, 2 weeks or so, just because school has been crazy. Finals is coming up in 3 weeks, and I have just, this much homework to do. It's been very taxing, but we finally have some time, and we're gonna make some videos today. First off, subscribers. Thank you. Last time, I was all like, oh, we're almost at 50. Now we're almost at 100. We're at 77 and perhaps more by the time this video comes out. So thank you everyone for subscribing. It really means a lot to me and Gracie. These videos are just fun to get together and put together, and I was not expecting to get all these subscribers. So this is awesome, and thank you everyone for it. It's been really great. Otherwise, I hope you guys are enjoying the Among Us content. It's a good filler because I haven't had time to film real videos. If you liked it, be sure to let me know and we'll keep it coming. But yeah, back to kind of my normal content, which is some car rants. So I had a topic that I've been thinking about instead of paying attention in school lately, which is top speed or handling. Okay, it's a big decision, and the biggest one that I can think of that makes me really one of those decisions is which would I have even though I can't afford it? Not even close. But which would I have if I could? Koenigsegg Jesko, like this one, the track version, or Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, like this one, the top speed version. Now Bugatti also kind of does this with the Chiron, where you can get the Chiron, which is your normal $3 million car. Then you can get the Chiron Sport, in which you pay another $1 million for carbon fiber windshield wipers. Definitely worth it. Or you can get the Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus, this one, or the Chiron Per Sport, this one, both of which cost, I'm sure, at least $5 million. Koenigsegg are expensive too, but I have to razz on Bugatti. But anyway, it's a big choice, right? So if you could take one of these cars, would you take the handling version or the top speed version? Now I should point out both of these are street legal, or else I wouldn't be comparing them. But in general, it's either a top speed car or a track car. Or you get one car with the top speed version and the track version, and it's well, which would you have? Which is better, right? I don't know, I've just been thinking about it a lot, so here's some of the pointers, I guess. So, let's start out with track version, and this is kind of naturally where I lean to, mainly because I think the cars just look better. If you look at track-focused cars, you get a lot of big wings and hard angles, and basically what a Lamborghini looks like. Like my Cyan back there, which you should also go check out that video. Anyway, but yeah, in general, track-focused cars have a special look to them. You can tell when it's track-focused, and you can tell when something's top-speed focused. Obviously, with track-focused, you want lightweight, you want a lot of downforce, and that's kind of what you see with them. If you look at race cars that are meant for going around corners, they're not that powerful, but they are very light, and they have a lot of downforce, because that's what you want. The speed you can make up for in a straight is probably less than the speed you can maintain through a corner with higher downforce. For a track-focused car, you want more downforce, you want better handling, and less focus on acceleration. And then, obviously with top speed, you just want to focus on acceleration, but there's more to it than that. Here's kind of where I am. Some pros. I think they look better in general. For the Bugatti, I think the Per Sport looks better than the 300 Plus, in my opinion. With the Koenigsegg, I think the Jesko looks better than the Jesko Absolute. That wing is just real nice. Another pro is they handle better, obviously. It's the track version. But there are some cons to owning them, especially if you're going to be using them like most hypercar owners use them, driving 20 miles around in Miami. These cars that are so expensive, especially if you're talking about hypercar track-focused cars, you're gonna very rarely see them out on the track. I think less so now, a lot more people are taking them out on the track, but for a car that expensive, even just maintaining it on a track with brake wear and tire wear and all that, it's gonna be so expensive. Sure, you could do it, and I'm sure it'll just be a ridiculous track car. But for driving on the road, which is how most of them will be driven, there are some downsides to a track car. Comfort, obviously. With a lot of downforce comes stiff suspension, and you're gonna be driving around. I remember Doug was driving an Aventador SV, and he said a ride is harsh when you feel the lane markers under the wheels as you change lanes. Also, in a track car, you're not going to get creature comforts, or at least in most of the high focus track cars. Not so much anymore, just because you can make like electric seats and air conditioning. You can make them so light it's not really like you're gonna throw that out. But in general, track cars are a lot less road focused. So, you know, lightweight, hard suspension, high downforce, and, you know, super sticky tires. And for the road, that's not exactly what you want. And I feel like that's going to be real tiring after a while. So there is kind of that downside to the higher handling performance that you get. And another thing is, for all that downforce, if you're driving on the road, how much is that going to help you? Going around the twisty roads you see me driving around in the Dart, if I had all the downforce of a Koenigsegg, would that really help me out at the speeds that I am going? It's like, you get all this downforce in these crazy track-focused cars, but is that going to help you anywhere other than the track? Because you have to be going pretty darn fast to get that downforce to make downforce. So, you know, at road speeds, it's more mechanical grip over aero grip, and so it's like, would you get that anyway with a top speed focused car? I don't know, it's kind of a trade-off. So that kind of leads me into the top speed area of cars, where top speed cars are naturally more road compliant than track cars, by their nature, you know. So top speed cars basically are the opposite, right? You get less downforce because you don't want all that drag, which means you can have slightly softer suspension. You also kind of want softer suspension because when you're going 300 miles an hour, you don't want a little bug on the road to just shoot your car total mess. You want kind of compliant ride, so when you hit a divot going 300 miles an hour, it doesn't upset the car. You get a more road compliant car in that sense. Less downforce, better suspension. This is probably Koenigsegg specific, but with the Jesko, you can put the roof under the front in the Absolute, but because of they added a triplex suspension in the front on the track version to maintain all the downforce and keep the suspension from bottoming out, you don't have the storage space to put the roof in anymore, which is a shame because that's one of the coolest features of the Koenigsegg. Top speed cars also, they all have their own look to them as well. Where I still stand by, I think track focused cars look better. Top speed cars have a really cool look as well. Like the Jesko Absolute has really been growing on me, how it's just sleek. Looks like a fish. You want the super low drag coefficient and you end up cars like the Jesko Absolute, like the SSE Taratua, and the Hennessy Venom F5, which I honestly think looks pretty cool despite my Hennessy prejudice. But they're really good looking cars, and so you get, you know, you get your trade-offs. Now, another thing is, you know, not all top speed cars are like the Bugatti Veyron anymore, where, remember, the Veyron just couldn't turn. It was this massive heavy thing, and sure, you could go 200, 230 miles an hour in that thing? Probably higher with the Super Sport, but it was not a track car. That is not a car you would take on the track. I'm sure it'd be fun on the track, but it's not made to go on the track, and it would be left in the dust by a lot of less powerful cars. But you'd still get a pretty decent handling car, especially if you go like a Koenigsegg. Obviously, you're still going to get a really good handling car. You're just also going to be able to go 300 miles an hour. But remember this, the handling of these hypercars and the top speed of these hypercars, like I said, they're not really road usable. What is the point of having the higher top speed on your car, other than bragging rights, which I admit is a definite selling point of hypercars, you know, the stats, even though you're never going to go 300 miles an hour, unless you go on a road course somewhere and close off, you know, Nevada highway and stuff, which props to you if you're doing that. Other than bragging to everyone, my car is faster than yours, are you going to get anything? You know, it's like for actual car use, you're not really being helped out by being able to go 300 miles an hour. Now, will the top speed version be able to accelerate faster than the track version? Yes, but only after the downforce starts to kick in, which is at pretty high speeds. So for normal speeds, in fact, the downforce would actually help you put power down, so the track version might accelerate a little faster at low speeds, and then once you get into going to jail speeds, then you'll start catching up. So it's a trade-off, and it's one that I've been struggling with. Would you rather have a car that maybe will handle better on the road, maybe, but has a worse ride, but looks cooler? Or you could have a top speed car, which also looks really cool, not quite as cool, but also really cool. You can brag about being able to go 300 miles an hour and is slightly better on the road. It's a really tough decision, so I'm still not quite sure. I'm really not quite sure. Ultimately, it comes down to, I think the track version looks better, despite, you know, the pros and cons. And, you know, stiff ride, okay. It's a hypercar. It's really tough decision. So that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about. That was what was on my mind. Track version, especially with Koenigsegg, I think the wing just looks cooler. I love spoilers. Everything should have a spoiler, and I just think it looks a little better, you know. But also, you could say you couldn't go 300 miles. I don't know. So let me know. Would you guys rather have a car that can pull 2 Gs around a corner, or a car that can go 300 miles an hour? It's a very tough decision, and one that I probably will not have to make. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really is awesome, you know, that the channel's doing pretty cool right now, and I have to catch David, who's at 144, so keep subscribing, and I will see all you guys next week. Thank you. Alright, do my intro for me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video.
Is that what I sound like?
No. Okay, bye.
It better be in the blooper reel.
No.
Yeah. You think that was okay? No.